Hey, what's up, everyone? You are listening or watching the My Comic Book Journey podcast. I'm your host, Kennedy, and we shall go back to September 1991 for the first issue of Solar, Man of the Atom from Valiant Comics. $1.75 right there. Look at that cover of Phil Selesky, the professor. But let's talk about this first issue. First of all, it's written by Jim Shooter, pencilers D. David Perlin, inker and editor is Bob Layton, colorist was Kathryn Bollinger, and letterer was Jade. And usually I like to read comics in order for this podcast, but we're going to go backwards. I know I started with issue number 7, but we're going to go back and do 1 through 6. I figured I owe you guys that much. See, the reason why I kind of avoided starting from the beginning here is things pick up, several issues that align with Solar. Not to say that the first issue was bad. It was more of an introductory issue, but it is very confusing. So this does not feature the actual origin issue 100%. And what I mean by that is because from, I think it's the first 10 issues, right, of Solar, Man of the Atom, they included these storylines like this insert featuring the origin of Solar. So you have to buy all those issues to read it. And I think that was smart on Valiant and also Jim Shooter's part to have the origin issue. Instead of releasing a comic book issue, you'd spread it out so people want to keep on reading. And I thought that was kind of interesting. But I think, should I say what I don't like or what I liked? What I liked is that, it gave a good understanding of who the characters were. From Selesky to Dr. Erica Pierce to Gail, the woman that he would fall in love with, and so forth. But you have to remember, this issue was the beginning, and Solar, well, Phil Selesky, he's a scientist, right? But the scientist you see here is more like the dorky scientist, the stereotypical scientist that, that you see the blonde beauty Gail who works at the same science plant as Selesky, and he's the kind of guy that just wonders, I really like her, she's very cute, but he's one of those guys you feel that she's way out of his league and he never tries for her, but unfortunately something bad happens and he can only wish of the feelings of what if. And it's interesting, you get to see a side of Erica Pierce too when they first met, and he's trying to chat with her, as a colleague, and but she's more like disgusted that he's trying to chit chat and stuff like that. And in a way, I think it's just the treatment of Solar, and it's just the same thing. I guess maybe how I felt for me. As the Asian guy who did well in school and studied a lot, and I didn't take it kindly when people, and it's not more of bullying, but take advantage of you because you're smart, or you're always outed for being the top student, and then you build resentment in class, stuff like that. Those are memories that from school to college as well. It's just like, geez, I'm like, can I even get a break? Why am I, why am I having to take this BS or, all this other stuff that I'm just like, this is just the reality of some, unfortunately, for some people who are very smart and are not jocks, and it's just what it is, unfortunately. And while there are schools that do appreciate people, students who are studious and do well and grow up to be accomplished employees and so forth. I think there's just, I look at this character of Selesky, not the one we get to know through as Solar, but the Selesky, the scientist, that you just like, man, you feel bad for this guy, but at the same time you don't. You feel bad for him because he's just, a smart guy doing his job. He has his wants as a man, but at the same time, a lot of people are out of his league. Tries to talk to the girls, but he's just not good at it. And you just like feel, man, dude. But at the same time, what I mean is that, what I say that there's some bad qualities. And the bad qualities is that, as many scientists who discover things that are turned into weapons, you become a scientist so brilliant that you could do positive for this world, but yet your intellectual side of things turns to, I guess you could say, you become a puppet in the system, and you end up using your brilliance to devise something that others can capitalize on, and you're left with nothing. And in his case, he created something that dealt with, well, that can pretty much kill humanity, especially those who are close by it. And as you feel bad for Selesky, at the same time you're like, dude, why do you really take pride on what you're creating? And what happens when things go wrong? And in this case, something is about to go wrong, and it could wipe out thousands upon thousands of human beings. And I think that's what I took from this issue. And it was enjoyable, especially to read some of that origin of the Alpha and Omega of Solar, and how he was back then, and what may have led to him getting these powers. But at the same time, this is just more of an introductory. So the storyline is, don't want to say it's all over the place, but it's entertaining. But at the same time, you felt wanting more, and I think as an introductory issue, it's fine. It's just you felt that, my gosh, man, I wish they just included the origin issue. But again, I understand what they're doing. They're trying to spread it out into multiple comic books or multiple issues. But overall, I think Solar Man of the Atom issue 1 is good. And I think for collectors, it's one of the harder issues. This and the early issues, I think before 7, tend to be hard to find. You got to be lucky, and you kind of keep on looking to see if anyone's willing to sell their comics of the earlier Solar in the Valiant comics run back in the 90s. As you can see, the BWS next to his right leg, Barry Windsor Smith created the artwork for this cover, and also has involvement in that in the origin insert as well. Okay, that's pretty much it, everyone. You take care, and I will see you later. Wink, wink, and see you later, everyone. Bye-bye.